Welsh is a member of the Brythonic branch of the Celtic languages. It is spoken natively in Wales by some in England, and in Wladfa. Historically it has also been known in English as the British tongue, Cambrian, Cambric, and Cymric. The 2011 UK Census counted 3.1 million residents of Wales, 27% of whom had been born outside Wales, and 73% of whom reported having no Welsh language skills. If residents of Wales aged 3 and over, 19% reported being able to speak Welsh, and 77% of these were able to speak, read and write the language. This can be compared with the 2001 census, in which 20.8% of the population reported being able to speak Welsh. In surveys carried out between 2004 and 2006, 57% of Welsh speakers described themselves as fluent in the written language. An estimated 110,000 to 150,000 people speak Welsh in England. A greeting in Welsh is one of the 55 languages included on the Voyager Golden Record chosen to be representative of Earth in NASA's Voyager program, launched in 1977. The greetings are unique to each language, with the Welsh greeting being IHEDICHWYNAWRACYNASOED, which translates into English as "Good health to you now and forever." The Welsh Language Measure 2011 gave the Welsh language official status in Wales, making it the only language that is de jure official in any part of the United Kingdom, English being de facto official. Throughout Wales, road signs are bilingual in Welsh and English. For example, Chepstow appears alongside Cas Gwent, the Welsh name for the town. History. Welsh emerged in the 6th century from Common Brythonic, the common ancestor of Welsh, Breton, Cornish and the extinct language known as Cambric. 4 periods are identified in the history of Welsh, with rather indistinct boundaries. The period immediately following the language's emergence from Brythonic is sometimes referred to as Primitive Welsh. This was followed by the Old Welsh period, considered to stretch from the beginning of the 9th century to the 12th century. The Middle Welsh period is considered to have lasted from then until the 14th century, when the Modern Welsh period began, which in turn divided into Early and Late Modern Welsh. The name Welsh originated as an exonym given to its speakers by the Anglo-Saxons, meaning foreign speech. The native term for the language is Cymraeg and Cymru for Wales. Origins. Welsh evolved from British, the Celtic language spoken by the ancient Britons, alternatively classified as Insular Celtic or P-Celtic. It probably arrived in Britain during the Bronze Age or Iron Age and was probably spoken throughout the island south of the Firth of Forth. During the early Middle Ages, the British language began to fragment due to increased dialect differentiation, evolving into Welsh and the other Brythonic languages. It is not clear when Welsh became distinct. Kenneth H. Jackson suggested that the evolution in syllabic structure and sound pattern was complete by around 550, and labeled the period between then and about 800 Primitive Welsh. This Primitive Welsh may have been spoken in both Wales and the Hen Ogledd, the Brythonic-speaking areas of what is now northern England and southern Scotland, and therefore been the ancestor of Cambric as well as Welsh. Jackson, however, believed that the two varieties were already distinct by the time. The earliest Welsh poetry, that attributed to the Cynfedd or early poets, is generally considered to date to the Primitive Welsh period. However, much of this poetry was supposedly composed in the Hen Ogledd, raising further questions about the dating of the material and language in which it was originally composed. An 8th century inscription in Tawan shows the language already dropping inflections in the declension of nouns. Old Welsh. The next main period, somewhat better attested, is Old Welsh. Poetry from both Wales and Scotland has been preserved in this this form of the language, as Germanic and Gaelic colonization of Great Britain proceeded. The Brythonic speakers in Wales were split off from those in northern England, speaking Cambric, and those in the southwest, speaking what would become Cornish, and so the languages diverged. Both the poetry of Aneurin and the poetry, or Book, of Taliesin were in this era. Middle Welsh. Middle Welsh is the label attached to the Welsh of the 12th to 14th centuries, of which much more remains than for any earlier period. This is the language of nearly all surviving early manuscripts of the Mabinogion, although the tales themselves are certainly much older. It is also the language of the existing Welsh law manuscripts. Middle Welsh is reasonably intelligible, albeit with some work, to a modern-day Welsh speaker. The famous cleric Gerald of Wales tells, in his Descriptio Cambriae, a story of King Henry II of England. During one of the king's many raids in the 12th century, Henry asked an old man of Pencadder, Carmarthenshire, whether the Welsh people could resist his army. The old man replied, "It can never be destroyed through the wrath of man, unless the wrath of God shall concur. Nor do I think that any other nation than this of Wales, nor any other language, whatever may hereafter come to pass, shall in the day of reckoning before the Supreme Judge answer for this corner of the earth." Welsh Bible. The Bible translations into Welsh help to maintain the use of Welsh in daily life. The New Testament was translated by William Salisbury in 1567, followed by the Complete Bible by William Morgan in 1588. Geographic distribution. Welsh has been spoken continuously in Wales throughout recorded history, but by 1911 it had become a minority language, spoken by 43.5% of the population. While this decline continued over the following decades, the language did not die out. By the start of the 21st century, numbers had begun to increase again. The 2004 Welsh Language Use Survey showed that 21.7% of the population of Wales spoke Welsh, compared with 20.8% in the 2001 census, and 18.5% in 1991. The 2011 census, however, showed a slight decline to 562,000, or 19% of the population. The census also showed a big drop in the number of speakers in the Welsh-speaking heartlands, with the number dropping to under 50% in Ceredigion and Carmarthenshire for the first time. The number of Welsh-speaking people in the rest of Britain has not yet been counted for statistical purposes. In 1993, the Welsh language television channel S4C published the results of a survey into the numbers of people who spoke or understood Welsh, which estimated that there were around 133,000 Welsh-speaking people living in England, about 50,000 of them in the Greater London area. The Welsh Language Board, on the basis of an analysis of the Office for National Statistics longitudinal study, estimated there were 110,000 Welsh-speaking people in England, and another 1,000 in Scotland and Northern Ireland. According to the 2011 census, 8,248 people in England stated that Welsh was the first preferred language. The wards in England with the most people noting Welsh as the main language were the Liverpool wards, Central and Greenbank, and Oswestry South. Welsh-speaking communities persisted well on into the modern period across the border with England. Archenfield was still Welsh enough in the time of Elizabeth I for the Bishop of Hereford to be made responsible, together with the 4 Welsh bishops, for the translation of the Bible and the Book of Common Prayer into Welsh. Welsh was still commonly spoken here in the first half of the 19th century, and churchwardens' notices were put up in both Welsh and English until about 1860. Historically, large numbers of Welsh people spoke only Welsh. Over the course of the 20th century, this monolingual population all but disappeared, but a small percentage remained at the time of the 1981 census. Most Welsh-speaking people in Wales also speak English. However, many Welsh-speaking people are more comfortable expressing themselves in Welsh than in English. A speaker's choice of language can vary according to the subject domain and the social context, even within a single discourse. Welsh's first language is largely concentrated in the north and west of Wales, principally Gwynedd, Conwy, Denbighshire, Anglesey, Carmarthenshire, North Pembrokeshire, Ceredigion, parts of Glamorgan, and northwest and extreme southwest Powys, although first language and other fluent speakers can be found throughout Wales.